Hi, Tea Society. Welcome back to the Antisocial Planet. Today we are checking out Tower of God Season 2, Episode 21, and we are getting into the thick of everything that's going on with the workshop battles. We're getting into the final round. Everything is part of FUG's plan. Yes, I know it is actually pronounced FUG, but like I don't trust myself to say that properly. A slip of the tongue that's gonna get me into some trouble. I'm gonna stick with FUG. And more importantly, we have the fight that's currently happening between Bomb and Beta, which of course has ended up with Bomb being impaled, because why wouldn't that be part of how this is all going? It's about to get topsy-turvy, and I'm like stressed, but I also have read the webtoon, so like it's gonna be a different kind of stress than when I was first going through it. In 3, 2, 1, go. Wow. It's a intense shot of not a lot going on. Sorry, this episode, but okay. To this, where everything is going awry. I mean, none of that was actually what was said. Yeah, it's creepy. Ooh, are we gonna get some more of the backstory of like Beta? Because I was like, that's a shot though. I have so much like PTSD about seeing Bomb falling from distances now. I'm like, it happens in the webtoon too, where like something will happen. I'm just like, no. I have season 1 trauma. And things are going more topsy-turvy. And all the players get switched around. I mean, how many times does that happen with things in the tower? It's like, I'm just gonna watch and see what happens. Whoa. Some of the sound design. Yeah. There's so much going on. Like the way that like the story from like one moment, you're like, I know how this is probably gonna go. Like we know all the teams, we got the rules, we're going to the final round, and then it's like in the span of such a short period, the story's just like, yeah, everything's different now. Rearranging all of the pieces. Teams are crossing over, like people are switching teams. What you thought you knew, no you didn't. Which has happened at other points in the story. It's become a little bit of a joke with my like webtoon reactions where people are like, another cliffhanger, and I'm like, I read 2 chapters at a time, and which is like, unless you want me to be there for like an absolute eternity. But even then, I'm like, I still don't have enough information. Like it's still not enough chapters, and my videos, I'm usually recording for like, I don't know, at least like 40 minutes, like every time I sit down to a couple of chapters, because there's so much going on and it gets like edited down. But there's like so many cliffhangers in the series where I'm just like, what do you mean we're not going back to that story? What do you mean we're gonna go down this side quest? I want to know what happens here. And I feel like this is just like such a good show of it. Like even the name of the episode, The Beginning of Dawn, is like a beginning for like the final part of this season. Look who finally came back to the story. Speaking of storylines we didn't pick up again. Hats's just been like gone for a bit. I love the afterthought of like, he's a bad person though. How the heck is he gonna hide his face? Out of all the people, his face is a great disguise. Good job. Look, Khun continues to be a master of disguise in so much of the stories. No one will ever be able to figure out who it is. No. The way that Khun addresses the robot assistant, just like, hey. I mean, he didn't so much like leave the team. I mean, he did leave the team, but he also like got thrown off a ledge again. Me too. Rock and I are one of the same. Big talk for people who haven't had to fight him. See, Rock and I, same vibe. Almost. Sorry, that running animation. It's fine. Look, could I have done better? Probably not. It's always bad when someone sneaks up behind him. He doesn't notice. Look, it's not a great disguise. Don't be surprised that people can see through it. I think it's so funny, like, the disguises that, like, Khun does or Rock or whatever. Interesting disguises. Bum just grows his hair out and everyone's like, who's this Violet guy? Like... It's an interesting transition. Figure it out. Big brain time. Yeah, I was gonna say, are we gonna get some of the backstory of what was going on with him? Because, oh boy, every once in a while, I'm like, I have a bit of a soft spot for Beta because he continues in parts of the stories, and then I'm like, oh right, right. He's also done things that I'm like, ugh. Yes, because FUG is famous for keeping their promises. See, that was a cool transition. Speaking of things going topsy-turvy real quick. Oh boy. He needs to stop falling off of ledges and completely reinventing who he is. I mean, I feel like we never do any kind of test or game or whatever in the tower and we don't break the rules at some point. Bend them, I guess, maybe. Good luck with that. The condescending way that he said that, I'm just like, stop playing games. You don't even know how to use that properly. Yes, another piece of the puzzle that we didn't go back to for a while. Yeah, that's a lot for you to just throw at him. Yeah, I think being told like they're about to try and melt your friend to turn him into a weapon is like gonna take some time to adjust to. Yeah, we don't have time for this. Deep breath, Rock. Thank you for changing your hair back. It was really freaking me out, man. The warm tones just don't work. It also is kind of him being like, time to like give up the charade, right? Of being like, I'm not gonna stand around and have people think that I'm dead. We need to like make some moves. Yeah, hostages to keep bomb in line. That is never going to come up at some point in the future. But also like angry Shibisu always makes me feel like stuff's about to get real, you know? I mean, it's also a little bit scary whenever Khun and Shibisu are like working up a plan of some kind that I'm just like, definitely things are about to go down. The fact that we haven't been able to see a lot of Khun's eyes too is also alarming in general. Except when they had that like purpley glow to them. Yep, let's go. Let's go. Team up. He's such a disturber. It's a lot of trust. But I mean, also, in Khun we trust. I'm just like, he'll figure it out. I mean, more than some. There's like quite a few. Mm-hmm. Look, there's just so much chaos going on at this point. Like, I remember reading through this in the webtoon, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, there's so many different story threads. I do love that Shibisu's little, like, little guy floating around his colors. Oh yeah, this is back when we're still like, we should follow the rules. Where I'm at, they're like, no, we're too mad for that. Mm-hmm. We've got allies. Oh yeah. But also be suspicious. Mm-hmm. Almost as if they are guiding you. The chances are always slim, but we figure it out. Look, me and Khun are both mistrusting of everybody. Good transition between like the two like lenses, but also like say like he's like extraordinary and then having it go back to Khun. Mm-hmm. Nice. Let's go. I know we're gonna end the episode, but like, yeah, we are. I do want to say that I feel like the music did a great job for parts of this of having that kind of like victorious feeling. Like I feel again, there's been so many things happening in the last couple of episodes, right? And going through the story that have been like things being flipped on their head, right? Plans that we didn't know about, different team ups, people switching sides, right? There's been like a bunch of things going on that have been on the darker side, even just like Beta and his old backstory. We got like a little hint of it, and also just like Bomb being injured. There are so many things that have been on a little bit of the darker side. I even talked about how I feel like some of the humor has lessened as we're getting into some of that more serious storytelling. And because of that, I really like that we're not getting like more humor in this episode, but we are getting that lift in like optimism and hope and all of that. And it's something that I've noticed in more like recent stuff as I'm going through the webtoon. Again, there's like a great kind of comparison, but I really like that the story continues to talk about trying to divide up the teams and divide up people who can rely on each other, right? And it's only when they all come together and work together and trust in each other that everything starts to work, right? Like even there, they're like, oh, Khun is like expressing like almost this like apprehension to be so trusting, right? I don't have a choice. I have to trust the information that I have, which is not something that he's like super good at, of not being able to like verify information. And he's working on a clock, right? I don't have time to think through all of the possibilities. We just have to get moving because we don't have enough time to sit around and wait to be able to figure out if we know everything, right? Him having to just trust this like a little bit blindly, right? And just hope that his like intuition is right is also like part of what pulls them together, right? Like the more that they trust each other to get things done, the more that they trust each other to be able to figure things out, to meet each other at the right points, is part of what brings them like closer and closer together, right? Because so much of the tower is about like, not trusting each other, is about not working together, is about not having people support you, right? It's so competitive that it like has built-in systems to make it like almost this like incentive to work on your own, right? So whenever they like all pull together, there's been so much of them working separated. They don't have the same information. Not everybody knows what's going on. And now we have this episode where there's like a great lift in the music and everything coming together, even like showing like the close-ups of a bunch of their eyes is like showing this union between them and like great transitions between different characters that's like showing that they're mirroring each other as they're going through certain parts of the story is their way of going against all of that, right? Like the way that they pull together and work together and trust in each other is going against the inherent system of the workshop battles, but also the tower at large. And I just think it's always so much fun when they like all come together. Whenever I get a like Avengers Assemble moment, it makes me happy, mostly because I like to see all the characters together that I love. But I think that it's also just like such a great theme throughout the entirety of the story that's just about relying on each other and trusting people. And that's like in direct contrast to other like adversaries and like opposing forces, that there's a lot of like betrayal and like turning against each other and people like switching teams and like all of that, right? Amongst that chaos, we have this like group that are like pulling together and helping each other more. And because of that, there's this feeling of victory in that. So I just think that's really fun in this. And obviously we're going to be dealing with a lot of stuff going forward and it's going to get a little bit dark again, but you know what? I'm here for the ride and I'm hoping that we get at least some cool stuff going forward. Maybe we could. It's possible. The budget might kick in a little bit. I can hope. I can dream. But I hope you enjoyed watching that along with me. You can click this playlist to go into my previous reactions, or you can subscribe to me next time I post a Tower of God reaction. I will see you in the next video. Bye.